Your next challenge is entitled Slice of Pie. Create a function that determines whether or not it's possible to split a pie fairly given these three parameters. Number 1, the total number of slices, 2, the number of recipients, and number 3, how many slices each person gets. They give you the form of the function with the name equal slices and 3 parameters that they mentioned above. As usual, check the examples to make sure you understand. The first one has some good information in it. Notice that 5 people times 2 slices is 10, and that's less than 11, so it doesn't have to match exactly. You can have extra pies, and that's okay. But in the second example, it does not work out. 5 times 3 is 15, and that's more pie than you have on hand, which was only 11. The third example is like the first, and feel free to look through the second ones. They do have a note that you should return true if there are 0 people. So it's always good to be on the lookout for strange cases like that. When you think about the problem, 0 people, why would you do something for 0 people? But in reality, when you're programming, you have to be prepared for that kind of input, whether it's appropriate or not. And a lot of times people add error checking to handle these cases that may not entirely make sense. Anyway, we will get on to the coding part of the challenge. This is your time to pause if you'd like to. Note that we're returning a Boolean, and they told us the equal slices method. Here, I thought they did a poor job of naming the parameters. In the description part, these descriptions were very telling next to the 1, 2, and 3, and I would name my parameter names something more like this, not exactly that. That'd be pretty long and excessive, but I think we can do better than total people each. You know, it's not terrible, but it's just what I like to do. So I want to call mine total pies. Let's say num people for number of people, and each I'll call pies per person. Then, to comply, we're going to be returning, notice there's a return type of bool, we're going to return num people times pies per person. That would be the total number of pies consumed. And we got to make sure that's less than or equal to the total pies that we have, to make sure we have enough to feed everybody. And this should do it. We'll run it through our checker. Let's get that happy ring. And everything's happy. That's good. Now, we should talk about order of operations here. You may be wondering how this works, how the computer knows to execute the multiplication first and then compare against total pies. Think about reading this another way, where you could say that you're taking number of people and instead multiplying that by pies per person is less than total pies, and that, that's sort of a Boolean result. You could think of it as a 0 or a 1. So how does it get things right? Do note that you have some control over this with those parentheses that I just showed. So if you want to really make it clear what you're doing, you're not sure what the order of operations is going to be, you can sort of force it by doing something like this. But here, you don't need it. And we'll go to a reference page. This page has the operator precedence here. We'll go down to their list. And in our case, we were looking at relational operators. Remember, we had less than or equal, and the multiplicative operator for multiplication. Notice that multiplicative appears higher in the list than relational. Therefore, this operator is going to fire off first. It's going to perform this multiplication first, and whatever's left over here, whatever product, is going to be compared against total pies. So this is a good reference. I'm sure there are many others online that you can find. Maybe this is something that you print out and keep next to your computer while you're learning. Could be helpful. These are definitely things you want to get down. Yeah. So that's it. Pretty straightforward, I think. And hopefully that one didn't give you too much trouble. But as usual, leave questions, comments below. Thanks.